When we think about finding alien life, we usually picture spaceships or little green men, right? But what if the real search is actually a chemical detective story? That's what we're diving into today, following this incredible trail of cosmic clues to try and answer one of the biggest questions we've ever asked.
I mean, it's the question, isn't it? It's something that has just captivated us forever. But for the scientists on the front lines, the search for an answer has totally changed. They're not just scanning the skies for UFOs anymore. The real action, the real hunt, is happening on a scale that's almost unimaginably small. We're talking about the molecular level.
Yeah, you heard that right. The whole search for life out there has turned into this amazing bit of chemical detective work. Scientists are basically looking for these tiny, subtle clues, these little fingerprints that tell us biology has been at work somewhere else. So, what are these fingerprints exactly? Well, in the field of astrobiology, they've got a very specific name for them. And honestly, getting a handle on this one term is pretty much key to understanding the whole search. It's called a biosignature. And this is like the ultimate clue. It's not just some random molecule that might be made by life. No, a true biosignature is a substance or a pattern so unique, so specific, that it basically screams, hey, life was here. But, to find one of these things on another world, we have to start by really understanding the recipe for life right here at home.
Makes sense, right? Before you can spot an alien recipe, you've got to know your own by heart. And it turns out, all life on Earth, from the smallest microbe to the biggest whale, shares the same surprisingly short list of essential ingredients. Okay, get ready for a great acronym, CHNOPS. It stands for carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And believe it or not, these 6 elements make up something like 98% of all living matter on our planet. They are the absolute must-haves. But one of them is the real star of the show, the master builder, if you will. And that would be carbon. Carbon is just incredible. It can form 4 strong, stable bonds at once, which lets it create these long, complicated chains and rings. The very things that become the structural framework for DNA, for proteins, for everything. It's like the perfect chemical scaffolding. But here's the thing, life is way more subtle than just its list of ingredients. And this is where the detective work gets really clever. One of the most powerful and kind of weird biosignatures that scientists are hunting for has to do with a property that, well, your own 2 hands can show you perfectly. The concept is called chirality. It comes from the Greek word for hand. So think about it. Your left and right hands are mirror images of each other, but you can't perfectly stack them on top of one another. They're different. Well, it turns out that a lot of life's most important molecules are just like that. They come in left-handed and right-handed versions. And what's just mind-blowing is how life chooses between them. See, regular non-living chemistry is kind of messy. It just makes a random 50-50 mix of left and right-handed molecules. But life? Oh no. Life is super picky. It shows this overwhelming preference for just one version. For example, the amino acids that build all the proteins in your body, they are almost exclusively left-handed. So can you imagine if we found that same kind of lopsided preference on another planet? It would be an absolutely staggering discovery.
And that's exactly why scientists are so focused on this, finding a big imbalance in molecular handedness out there. I mean, that would be about as close to a smoking gun for biology as you could possibly get. And the coolest part? We are actively looking for this right now. Robotic explorers, like the Curiosity rover on Mars, are literally carrying these super sophisticated chemistry labs on their backs, designed specifically to sniff out these exact chiral signatures in the Martian soil. This isn't just some sci-fi idea. This is real exploration happening as we speak. Okay, but what if life isn't just hanging out in the easy places? To really broaden the search, scientists had to look at the absolute toughest life forms right here on our own planet. And these things, they've completely changed our definition of what habitable even means. We call them extremophiles. And let me be clear, they aren't just surviving in these crazy conditions. They are thriving in environments that would kill you and me in an instant. And the places they live are just, well, they're unbelievable. Just try to wrap your head around this. We found life in boiling hot water next to deep-sea volcanic vents. We've found it in pools of what's basically battery acid, in the coldest, driest deserts in Antarctica, in lakes so salty they should be totally sterile. There are even microbes that can live at temperatures way, way above the boiling point of water. It's wild. So here's the big takeaway. These extremophiles, they teach us to be way more open-minded. They show us that life doesn't necessarily need a comfy, Earth-like paradise to get started. It could be hanging on for dear life in the salty oceans hidden under the ice of Jupiter's moon Europa, or maybe even in the dried-up riverbeds of Mars.
All right, so we've looked at life as we know it. But what if we're being too restrictive? What if life's fundamental recipe could actually be different? It's time to challenge the one ingredient we've always assumed was totally non-negotiable.
I mean, really, could another element actually take the place of carbon? For decades, both in science fiction and in real science, there's been one main contender, carbon's close cousin on the periodic table, silicon. But how well does it actually hold up under scrutiny?
Well, when you put them head to head, carbon's advantages become super clear. Carbon-to-carbon bonds are really strong and stable, perfect for making long chains like DNA. Silicon bonds, not so much, they're way weaker. Carbon can also form double and triple bonds, which creates this huge variety of molecules. Silicon really struggles with that. But the real kicker, the biggest difference, is what happens when they meet oxygen. There's a great quote from a scientist that sums it up perfectly. While carbon chemistry is the chemistry of life, silicon chemistry is the chemistry of rocks. And just think about that for a second. When carbon bonds with oxygen, you get carbon dioxide, a gas. It can float around, plants can breathe it in. It's perfect for a living cycle. But when silicon bonds with oxygen, you get silicon dioxide. You know what that is? Sand, quartz, rock. It's kind of hard to build a dynamic breathing ecosystem out of solid rock.
So after all that, where does it leave us? Well, we've seen that the search for life isn't just one single thing. It's this massive, multifaceted investigation, a true chemical detective story that's playing out across the entire cosmos. We're out there hunting for that subtle preference for left or right-handed molecules. We're totally rewriting our definition of habitable thanks to Earth's toughest little survivors. And we're even pushing the boundaries of chemistry itself to see if a completely different kind of life could even be possible. And all of this brings us to the final, really big question, doesn't it? Is the life we have here on Earth the blueprint for the whole universe? Is this the only way it can work? Or are we just one example, just one chapter in a vast cosmic library of biologies where every chapter is written with its own unique chemical ink? The truth is, we don't have the answer, not yet. But the search itself, that's one of the greatest scientific adventures of all time. Hey, thanks so much for joining me on this cosmic detective story. If you had fun with this explainer, do me a favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the amazing science that shapes our world. I'll see you in the next one.